You're listening to the Awkward High Five podcast. You can follow along in your book. You'll know it's time to turn the page when you hear the chimes ring like this.
Fast man, let me tell you my story, man. Last year, I was insane for this crazy little 8th grade bitch. Okay?
Crazy? Insane?
Insane? Crazy?
I was nuts for the woman, man. Now you gotta believe me. I'm telling the truth here. I'm speaking to you. I mean, I was nuts for the girl. And what did it to me was these big titties she had. For a 13-year-old girl, man, she wouldn't have had to worry about no titties for the rest of her life, boy. You know, she was set and she was looking good, son.
That's the truth, baby.
I called every night for like a month. I mean, I'm talking devotion, man.
Every damn night?
Every night, Mitch. I ain't playing with you.
On the telephone?
What this boy talking about on the telephone, man?
Explain it
What
to
the hell?
him.
Goddamn, we know there's a telephone, boy. What the hell thing I doing?
But he hung up on her.
Oh, you didn't hang up on her. The chick with those big titties?
Man,
I hung up on the bitch. Man, you know, now here's the camper. You know what the bitch did to me?
Let him.
Check this shit out. Listen to what she did to me.
She need you in the nuts and called him faggot in front of everybody.
No. She did what? Bitch needs your nuts?
Bitch need my nuts, bitch. I'm not playing with y'all either, man.
In the family
I'm
jewel?
the family jewel, man.
Worst pain there is.
He never does say in front of everybody. He never says that, does he?
I don't think so.
Never for the longest time. We always thought he said that. We'd always be like, in the family jewels, in front of everybody. But he never says that.
My favorite part is just the I'm crazy for the woman. What's that dude's name?
The white dude?
Yeah, you know, from all the
Anthony Michael Hall.
Anthony Michael Hall. That is the best scene he's ever done. I think that's the best movie he's ever done.
Yeah, that's definitely the best scene.
But some people don't like. Well, I shouldn't say some people don't like Weird Science, but
it's not one of the better known. You know, when people say the classic '80s John Hughes flicks.
Right? Was that a John Hughes film?
I don't think so.
No,
but it could be. But even if it was, it's definitely not a front runner. It's almost that's like the cult classics of '80s movie. That's like
well, they play it all the time though. You see it on, you know,
do they?
Yeah, you see it on like Channel 11 still or whatever.
Damn.
I think when you're thinking about Anthony Michael Hall films, that's the name, Anthony Michael Hall.
It's something. Like
yeah,
that.
right. People
I always get mixed up with him and the Predator.
The Predator?
Yeah, remember the dude that rocks the Predator / the Harry and the Hendersons suit?
No.
And his name is very similar to Anthony Michael Hall.
Oh, okay.
I thought that was me and you talking about it. It might have been me and Dornilla.
Oh, I don't know.
Because he was calling somebody else
Our
that
friend
name.
Mark Dornilla, by the way.
Yeah, he was calling someone else the name, which is or may not be Anthony Michael Hall.
Okay.
I knew it was a something Hall.
No, it is Anthony Michael Hall. But
not the Predator. The Predator's some other Hall.
No, I don't know who you're talking about in the Predator. But
the Predator.
I think the actual Predator?
Yeah.
Whoopi Goldberg?
No, and it's the same and it's the same dude who rocks the Harry and the Hendersons. Harry is the Predator. The Predator is Harry.
Oh, so the guy that's in the Harry suit and the Predator suit is also the guy.
Anthony Michael Hall.
All right, you're hearing this here first. The Anthony Michael Hall of 16 Candles fame is actually the Predator and Harry and Henderson.
He's Harry.
Nothing made me cry more.
When George Henderson punches Harry,
not when he punches him, but when they just drop him off and like he won't go, so they have to use like
he gives him like a right cross.
Oh, is that when he punches him? I just remember them being like, "You don't belong here anymore. Get out of here."
He talks mad shit, and then he punches Harry right in the face.
That movie was heartbreaking as a child.
It's also the #1 movie that makes me more hungry than any movie. When he buys all that fast food for Harry, And he's like, cheeseburgers. And Harry's like a vegetarian, so he's like, all right. He's like, chicken or whatever.
Wait, the Sasquatch is a vegetarian?
Yeah, or something, or he doesn't eat red meat.
Oh, okay.
Something.
Because you can't eat chicken if you're a vegetarian.
He starts throwing all these sandwiches and he's like, French fries, 3 orders. He's like, wash it down with a chocolate shake, and he throws like all these chocolate shakes in the truck.
Was he? See, I don't remember that part, but
oh my god!
But I bet you I know why you were hungry from that. Were all the burgers in the wrapper?
Yeah.
Why does that do that to you?
I don't know.
If somebody in a movie or something gets a burger in that wrapper and then opens it up, and then especially if they eat it while still like half of it's still in the wrapper, it makes it the most appetizing thing on the face of the planet.
Pouch.
I haven't eaten fast food. I couldn't tell you the last time I ate fast food, but every time I see
yesterday.
Really?
Yeah, at McDonald's.
You ate. You were telling me before this that you ate some mammoth slice of pizza or something.
Yeah.
Well,
just now.
What was it?
It was one slice was fried chicken and spinach and roasted red peppers and fresh mozz cheese.
How can you fit all that on a slice?
It was amazing. And the other slice, this is even more disgusting. I never had it before until today. It was unbelievable. They call it the big boy. It's like pretty much it's a fat sandwich. It's like chicken wings, fries, mod sticks, something else with like this sauce on a pizza slice. It was unbelievable. And then I had a plain slice to wash it down.
Wait, mozzarella sticks on a pizza slice?
Yeah, like chopped up. It's banging.
Wow, that's pretty intense. And then so what was this milkshake?
Oh, it was a pumpkin cheesecake milkshake. Unbelievable.
I can't do the pumpkin thing. I know everybody's all stoked about pumpkin. I never liked pumpkin.
I love pumpkin pie.
I'm not a big pumpkin pie fan. I will eat it. Like there's nothing that I won't eat. But
I will squeeze it through the spaces between my teeth.
Do you even like store pumpkin pie, or is it just any pumpkin pie? It doesn't matter.
Oh, it doesn't matter, man.
Yeah, I can't.
But like sometimes you'll get a really good piece of pumpkin pie, like if you get it from like Dearborn's or Delicious Orchards or like one of those
all fine establishments in the central New Jersey.
Yeah,
area,
like a garden shop.
Yeah, I get it.
Where it would be fresh. But, I don't discriminate. I'll have an Enterman's pumpkin pie if they came out with one.
See, I'm a big fan of, and I've actually perfected my own recipe of pecan pie.
Really?
Yeah.
I'll eat the shit out of that.
To me, I think pecan pie is the most delicious thing on the face of the fucking planet. If it wasn't like fat,
that makes me like sticky.
Yeah, but so what, man? That's a good stick right there.
Good. I'll even eat some key lime pie.
I don't think I've ever really had key lime pie. I put key lime.
I like the graham cracker. I'm in for the graham cracker.
I like a graham cracker crust. I'm into that. I put key lime pie in the same category as a cheese cake. I was about to say cheesesteak, but that's a fucking lie because I love those. But like cheesecake and key lime pie, they're kind of like on the outer edges for me. So I'll never order them. But if I was offered it, I would eat it. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I've never once in my life said, "Oh, I want some cheesecake" or "I want some key lime pie."
I love tiramisu.
Tiramisu is amazing.
Oh, man. I don't know what that texture is or whatever you want to call that. Consistency.
Well, that's the thing with
unbelievable.
That's the thing with the pecan pie or pecan pie, however you want to say.
Consistency?
It's the consistency.
I love that.
Consistency is all there is.
That's the best word to describe how that food makes you feel.
Consistent?
Yeah.
Oh, man. So we started an episode right before this and failed miserably and then had to restart the whole thing.
That never happened. He's lying to you all.
We turned on the mics and we were like, so what's up? And we were like, no, nothing.
We went to work.
I did not go to work because I don't have a job. This is my job. I was telling you that I am excited / nervous / everything else. I have the feeling right now, and I know this is pathetic, and a much younger me would make fun of this, but I have the feeling that I have before I get on stage to perform. So before I get on stage to like with the band, or before I get on stage to do stand up or something like that like kind of like nervous butterflies, but it's good, but you're worried kind of feeling. The band? Sometimes, yeah, especially in the beginning. You know what I mean? Well, because I was the singer, I was up front. You know what I mean? Like I felt like a lot fell on my shoulders or whatever.
Felt the pressure.
I felt the pressure, but I have that feeling tonight. Right now, as we're doing this,
because of baseball?
Because in 2 hours, the New York Mets are going to be playing their first postseason game in 9 years. And since the Mets are the only sports team that I watch and I've suffered with for many years, I am nervous about it. I don't know. Because being a Mets fan for a long time, you have to expect disappointment. So it's if I was like a Cardinals fan or a Giants fan or a Yankees fan or something like that, I'd probably be going into this like yeah, right, we got this. But a Mets fan is always going to be like, we got this, but then deep down inside be like, oh, please win this game. But either way, it should be exciting.
That's good.
You're not a baseball guy.
Nah, I mean, baseball's cool. Like I'll go to a baseball game. I enjoy going to the games. I
think it's the best thing there is.
Like if I'm hanging out, drinking beers, or whatever, and it's on TV, it's on TV. But like I'll never
sit down and watch a baseball game.
I'll never make a plan to watch baseball.
Are you one of those people that consider baseball to be a boring sport to watch? Because I know you're a football fan.
Yeah, it doesn't move along. I like football basically because I like the whole idea of like, oh, it's Sunday, I want to put on my footsie pajamas and eat as much cold cuts as I can. You know what I mean? Like that's what I think of when I think of football.
Can you make the stadium out of cold cuts?
I make a fort in the living room, and then I fill it up with cold cuts and
milk,
dunkable cookies. Yeah, and milk, lots of milk with the cookies.
And then you watch
football. After the cartoons.
Aren't you a Raiders fan?
Yeah, the Raiders are actually doing good this year.
Really?
Yeah. I was like, holy shit. I'm going to start liking football again.
Yeah, I've heard that my whole life. Everyone says baseball's boring. Baseball's boring. I get it. I think football's boring.
Yeah, football is boring. And that's why a lot of teams now are just like throwing the ball. It's like a passing game now, where football was always, like a running game.
Yeah, right.
But there's no running the ball. You could totally eliminate that old school term. What is it? Rough and tumble from the dictionary, because it does not happen in football.
Because it's a business, and because they want fans.
It's just throwing the bomb ball,
right? Because that's what people want to see. That's why I'm going to say on record the abomination that is the American League and the fucking designated hitter rule in baseball. That was the main reason, is because they're like, we want to sell tickets and people like to see fucking home runs, so we're gonna eliminate. We're gonna change the game from what it is so that we could get these big idiots up there. No offense, David Ortiz, or Alice Rodriguez, but to get up there and hit these home runs so people will be happy, so they keep coming back, and then they fucking change the game. I don't want to get into that whole thing, but
no, it's true.
The DH kills me, and now they're talking about having the DH in the National League. If that happens, I might have to stop watching. I would never stop watching the Mets, but it bothers me. I don't know. So
no, it is corny. That's why I like like you said, I like watching football, but there are so many penalties being called this year. There's like every 3 plays is a different penalty. Every time you're watching.
But you think they wouldn't do that because they want it?
It bores the shit.
Yeah, they want it to be more.
I don't know what it is. There's just so many penalties this year.
The NFL, and I don't know much about it because I don't watch it. I just hear about it from like friends talking about it, or if I'm listening to the radio or something like that. But I find the NFL very interesting because they are trying so hard to be like a family thing. They want NFL to be family entertainment, but it's the most violent sport that there is. And you can't have both. So do you want these giant dudes to try to kill each other on the field, or do you want kids to be able to enjoy it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And like they can't have both of that. So they're dulling down their product, I should say, in order to make it more accessible to like children.
By dulling it down, you mean teaching the players not to be so rough with each other? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, right. We're just taking away the savagery of the game, which is what everybody was, you know what I mean? Like back, I don't know, but I've heard stories like back in the 70s or whatever, like the 60s and the 70s, like a football game was no place to bring children.
Yeah.
That
like a dude will play linebacker, like break his leg, and then he's in it as quarterback the next quarter.
But I'm even talking about like the atmosphere. Like you wouldn't bring your kids to a football game because it was just a bunch of like savage drunk maniacs that were there for like, it was almost.
The audience.
Yeah. It was almost, it was almost like the equivalent of like watching like gladiators and back in the Roman era. You know what I mean? Like people went there because they wanted blood. This is a violent sport.
Yeah, that's the original roots of football.
Yeah, right. Sure. And I get that, and I understand that, and on like a on a level, I could see that, but now like they try to make it so like Americana and invite the kids and everything, and those two products like can't coexist. I don't think
that and the players are just programmed robots, man. You look at the plays that they run. They're just so programmed to just move in certain directions and just do things. Like, it's not even like there's no music to the sport, if that makes any sense. Like, there's no
like grace.
It is just, from the second they snap the ball, just like it reminds me of that game you had when you were little and the magnet is underneath and you did nothing. I think you just turned it on and all the magnetic players just start moving in different directions.
Oh, they're talking about the football game.
Yeah.
I think it vibrated. Wasn't that what it was?
It was like a
you like turned it on and it vibrated
shit.
and they all just started vibrating towards each other.
Something,
yeah, and
yeah.
it was like steel and shit.
Everyone is just robots. You're not watching humans play. You could just tell, like, if you watch a video of like Walter Payton running in 1983 and compare it to any running back playing in the NFL now, it looks like a machine. And then Walter Payton is like dancing across the field, and then you get a robot. It's freaky to watch, especially Tom Brady. Tom Brady looks like somebody wound him up like a toy soldier and just put him on the field, and he's just a robot.
Yeah,
that just fires and missiles balls into people.
Well, I guess if that's what you do from age 5 for the rest of your life,
it's insane. It is insane.
Joe Montana is the last thing I know about, and that's only because I played Joe Montana football for
Joe
Sega.
could dance. Joe had grace.
Isn't he considered like the best quarterback of all time?
Actually, Joe Montana won Super Bowls. He holds no records, no game records.
But you're gonna say Dan Marino, right? But he didn't win any.
Joe Montana.
No, I know, but I thought you were gonna say that Dan Marino was because I know these names because they're
Dan Marino held records,
but he never won a Super Bowl.
He never won. I thought he won one.
I don't know. I'm asking. This is what I think I know.
Yeah, either none or one.
Right.
Maybe,
so what?
Maybe none.
So then, okay. So then, what's better? If you're Joe Montana who won Super Bowls but maybe aren't as good of a quarterback as Dan Marino, or you're Dan Marino who's a better quarterback but never won a Super Bowl, then who's a better player?
If it was me personally, I'd want to be the Super Bowl winner.
Yeah, I would too. You know what I mean? But
fuck stats. I just want to go to Disney World and shit.
I think they can afford to go to Disney World.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's weird that way. I don't know. And another thing about the NFL, which is weird to me, is that they're trying so hard to go out, to expand their brand outside of the United States, because it's the only sport that I could think of that is only liked in one country. That's it. Nobody outside. Yeah, I'm sure there's stragglers and stuff like that, but nobody outside of the United States likes American football. They don't care about it
because there is no such thing. There's no such sport.
Well, there's like Canadian League football and stuff like that or whatever. But
yeah, but they don't have football in other countries
because they don't like it. It's not adopted. You know what I mean? And that's what the NFL is trying to do. That's why they have these games in London and stuff like that, because they're hoping that it catches on there.
Oh, is that what they're doing?
Yeah, because
that is retarded.
They want so badly for their product to be caught on overseas, but the rest of the world, and I'm not saying this is a good thing or a bad thing. I'm not taking an anti-football stance. It doesn't matter if you like football, more power to you. I totally understand. I'm a baseball fan, and a lot of people hate that. But people in Europe they're not going to like American football. It's just not going to happen. You know what I mean? It's not a very.
Well, they do the whole soccer and rugby thing,
right? Exactly. Yeah, they're big. They
do their thing already. They're not going to switch.
But the NFL isn't happy with being the biggest sport in America. Yeah, right.
Well, they need to chill out because that's all you get.
Well, that's my whole point. It's just
Yeah. Well,
they've already taken over everything. They're the biggest sport that there is in the United States. Like
commercial wise.
Yeah, right. More money, more money, more money. That's why they want the kids. That's why they're okay with watering down their product in order to get the family thing, because they want more eyeballs, more advertising dollars.
I gotta say something I noticed. It's actually funny. Everyone accuses the Patriots of cheating. I never look into it.
And now I'm throwing up the air quotes, Deflategate.
Right. Which
is the dumbest shit in the face of the planet.
I guess that was last season or Super Bowl or something with that, but that's not what I'm talking about. They're accused of being cheaters, which I don't doubt. You know what I mean? I could totally see those dudes being snakes and cheating. But it was the Patriots, Green Bay, and the play clock's ticking, and it was down to 10. Brady waves his arms. If you're watching closely at the television, it went from 8 or 9, then it just went boop back to 25, and they got all these fresh seconds of the play clock, and no one said shit.
This happened recently?
Yeah.
That's very weird.
It just went to 25. Oh, Brady like made some type of arm waving motion.
That's weird.
And that's it.
Okay, I'm gonna take your word for that. And people listening to this are probably thinking like that didn't happen.
Look it up on YouTube. It's on YouTube.
Have people discussed that afterwards and said like this hour? This
I don't know. I don't watch like ESPN or anything.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I guess. The Deflategate thing, here's the thing, and this isn't my own thought. I've heard people say this, but I agree with it. And whatever, I'm sure there's like some comedian has a bit about it out there or whatever, but we got to stop calling things gates because it doesn't make any sense.
What other gates are there?
Well, here's the reason why. The whole thing comes from Watergate, right?
Oh, duh.
But Watergate was the name of the fucking hotel. That's the reason it was called the Watergate scandal. You know what I mean?
So they're trying to change the word gate to mean
whenever there's a scandal,
suspect.
They always put gate at the end of it. I can't think of anything else besides Deflategate off the top of my head, but there's been a bunch. You know, and they've said gate, this gate, that gate, you know what I mean? And it doesn't make any sense because it all comes from Watergate, which was just the name of a fucking hotel, you know?
Yeah.
Tom Brady's deflated balls thing should have been the deflated ball conspiracy or something like that. I don't know.
Deflate gate. That is terrible.
Well, even that
terrible.
Even that is marketing. You know, like all that is marketing.
But that is like marketing to retards.
And here's the fucking thing: if you watch any professional sport with all the money that is on the line and all the prestige that is on the line, if you don't think that all of these people are trying to get an advantage any way they possibly can, you're out of your fucking mind. There's I know that there is no such thing as an honest sports team out there. And it's not that they want to be like evil cheaters. You know what I mean?
They just want to win more than
they just want to fucking win.
Anything
in baseball, if you could steal the signs, you steal the fucking signs. That's cheating. You do it. Everybody does it. It's accepted. It's up to the other team to realize that the other team's stealing the signs and then go to their secondary signs so that the other team doesn't steal the signs. You know? It's like when
it's like, stop your crying.
Oh, so like wasn't it also the Patriots that were recording practices so they could get the plays, and they called that Spygate?
Oh my god!
You see what I'm saying? Spygate. Maybe it's just the Patriots.
Terrible.
Maybe it's just the Patriots and Richard Nixon get the gates. I don't know.
Seriously, it is so bad.
Well, you know, and it's all marketing and whatever, but I know everybody is nostalgic for a simpler time, but as a sports fan, I would really wish that I grew up earlier. Like if I could have watched baseball back in the 60s and the 70s, or you know, even football back then and stuff, when it was like a pure sport and there wasn't all this advertising and all this bullshit.
Even the 80s, early 90s was a great time in football, man. Like 80s was serious, you know what I mean? We had, you know, Lawrence Taylor and, you know, Walter Payton. We had some, you go on forever. But then early 90s football, like around the time of the Dallas dynasty, when the Bills were doing really good.
Wasn't at the time the Bills went like 4 years in a row and lost all 4 years?
Yeah, ridiculous, man. I think they went more than 4. But they lost to the Bills a bunch. They lost to they lost to the Cowboys a bunch. They lost to the Redskins, the Giants. But yeah, the Cowboys won like 6 Super Bowls. Well, that was a great time in football.
Let me ask you a question about the Redskins. What do you think about the name?
Did they decide on a different name?
No, but the whole
they were supposed to do that last year. They keep like postponing it.
Yeah, I just
think they're gonna call it like Waiting Gate.
What? Yeah. What? I just don't. I guess I'm not a very PC person, but I do respect everybody's like opinion and everything like that. But this outcry over this stupid fucking sports team and their name, I guarantee you that
when are you going to pay attention?
But here's the thing. Here's what happens, and this annoys the shit out of me. And I've talked about this before, and normally this is the point in the party where people start walking away from me because I get upset about this and I start ranting. So I don't know what reaction the people at home listening to this are going to have, but what happens in America now, which disgusts me, is that there's special interest groups, right? These special interest groups think that they represent a people, and then they lobby. You know, maybe they have some lawyers in there or whatever. They know what to do. They know how to go after sponsors, and they know how to do everything like that to get. So there's a group of 100 people, maybe not even 100 people, that think that they're going to talk for a whole group of people, a much larger group of people, either whether it be a race or whatever, sexual preference or anything like that, and then they attack these corporations, and of course the corporations, because their money's on the line or their advertising's on the line, are gonna sooner or later buckle, and they know that. But the problem is, if you were going to go up to pretty much any Native American and ask them if they gave a fuck, any regular Native American, you know what I mean? The dude you work with, or like whatever, you know what I mean?
Right.
And ask them if they were offended by the Washington Redskins, they're going to tell you no, because they're fucking not. Because they're just people, that's just not the way people are. It's not, but
some people are though, man.
Some people are, and those are the people, and those are the people that will fight and fight and fight to get a shit turned over.
That is just a bizarro race of people, because like, you act that way, and how could you not be noticing and saying, I'm doing everything in my power to make my life as annoying and hard to deal with as possible.
Right, and
letting every single thing bother me.
Yeah, and it happens all the time. People
for nothing.
Here's what I don't understand is the like bloodlust for people's jobs. So like if something goes wrong, people are always demanding other people's jobs. Like, why would you ever want to see somebody lose their job? Like, does that make you feel better?
Wait, I'm sorry. What do you mean?
So like let's say like an announcer on television, and I don't have any examples of it off the top of my head, but let's say an announcer on television says something,
Drew Carey
or whatever, but sure, but say,
picture this.
Okay, let's say Drew Carey is on The Price is Right, and somebody's spinning spinning the wheels on The Price is Right, and it's a black woman, and she hits the 100, and he goes, "Damn, nigga," you know what I mean? But he's excited, right? Let's just say that happens.
Gotcha.
Now, everyone's pissed off at him, right? And rightfully so. He shouldn't have said that, even if he was just joking around, even if there was an A at the end of it. Yeah. I totally understand that. However, why does he have to lose his job? You see what I'm saying? At that point, everybody then starts calling, we're going to boycott your sponsors unless he's fired, he's fired.
Because what they want to do is they want to, if it not be so, they want to give the impression and make it look like the bosses of that actor or host or whatever are on their side. So by firing that actor, that makes it look like the boss is on their side of the victim. You know what I mean? Like,
but wouldn't the bosses also be on their side if they just forced him to make a public apology and promise never to do that again?
I would think so.
Right.
I would think so. But I guess that's just not the accepted backstab for Hollywood, I guess.
Well, I just think. Well, I don't. The Price is Right is far from Hollywood.
Right.
But I think that
Parker's Beauties.
I think there's more psychologically at play there, and I think that people just want to see other people torn down. Oh, especially people that they perceive to be in a better place than them. So they're like, oh well, fuck this guy. He's on television. He's making all this money and everything. Like he offended me, so let's take him down. I want to hurt his life. And if you live your life that way, if you want to see anybody else get taken down in life, lose their job, lose their livelihood, or anything like that, even if you are offended,
you got problems.
Yeah, it just doesn't. Never made any sense.
And also the thing with some of these people that get fired for this kind of stuff, they get rehired like a month later because everyone forgets. Everyone moves on to the next big public outcry.
Right. Well, that's another thing.
The person gets their job back, and no one even knows that he said nigger.
It's so frivolous. You know what I mean? Like it's. And I'm not saying that you should be out there saying the N-word on air. I'm not saying any of that. Although I think that there should be more lax restrictions on what you can say. But like the people that get offended is just. You're going to be offended. Everybody in this world is going to be offended by something, and you have every right to be offended. But just because you're offended doesn't mean that somebody else has to lose their job. You see what I'm saying?
No one else has to care that you're offended.
Yeah, right. You're offended. I get offended. Yeah. You get offended. Shit offends you.
Sorry.
Yeah, right. And that sucks, and I'm sorry that you're offended, but that's part of being alive,
Like, we're not going to baby powder your ass because you got offended when I'm sitting over here offended.
Yeah, right, exactly.
All red and chafed.
But I've never been in the situation, and I don't get offended very easily. You can pretty much say whatever the fuck you want to me, but even if I was, I might be like, hey man, what you just said was offensive. And you know what I mean? Like, or maybe at a very extreme thing, be like, "Hey, man, that was offensive. Like, please
run to someone else and be like, fire them."
Yeah, right. Fire them. I'm gonna boycott your
Be on my
your
side.
sponsors. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's why any comedian who gets in trouble for saying something and doesn't apologize, or any corporation that maybe has a spokesperson or whatever, or talent or something like that, and they get in trouble and the corporation doesn't make them apologize, or the corporation doesn't back down or something like that, I end up respecting those people so much more than the, like, oh my God, we're gonna lose fucking Coca-Cola's money.
It makes more sense. It's good to see people do things that a normal person would do, because most of the time people don't do shit that a normal person does. They do shit like, holy shit, how the fuck can that person do that shit like that? You know what I mean?
Right.
They always end up saying something like that.
Yeah, right.
Because people just do the dumbest shit.
But then we're all people. And the standard that people hold other people at is a standard that nobody could ever exist at.
But that's not true. I mean, you hold people at a standard just to do shit that doesn't make you like, oh my God, are you kidding me? Like, even if something is like partially okay and like just about at par, I'd be so happy, and just to be like, life is so easy to walk through. But no, people always gotta make shit suck.
Well, oh yeah, right.
Everybody's gotta complain.
That's what I mean. But those people, I guarantee you, any of those people that are offended, they're also offensive at some point in their life. But to them, that's not offensive. You know what I mean? And if somebody was, see what I'm saying? Yeah. So like, there's no way that you could be that way. So just relax.
Yeah.
Be offended. Be pissed off. If you turn on the Tonight Show,
it's natural.
Or I shouldn't use the Tonight Show because I'm pretty sure, Jimmy Fallon will never offend anybody on the face of the planet.
No,
but
he's too nice.
If you turn on some television show and the guy on there offends you, be offended. Yeah, be fucking offended. You have every right to be offended. Tell your husband or your kids about it, or whatever you want, or your friend at work about it, and tell them that you're offended. And then guess what? Just then don't watch it ever again. Yeah. That's it. Don't write letters and call for people's jobs.
Pick it outside the walls.
Yeah, it's just, there's so much better things you could do with your life.
I know.
So, Rich,
yo,
let me take you back to a time here. I was thinking today about our, because we were supposed to be telling our story as well, and we haven't been doing that. So we talked about the band, and we talked about when we were younger and when we first met and everything. Mm-hmm. And I was thinking about big times in our life, and I wanted to take you back to a simpler time. Back in the late 90s.
I was hoping it was going to be in the 90s.
Yeah, in a little town. Let me think about it. Yeah, I remember it. I remember like it was yesterday. It was a little town called Keyport, New Jersey, and a little deli on. Was that Front Street or Broad Street?
That was Front Street.
Front Street.
Yeah.
A little deli on Front Street called Bob's Market and Deli.
Market and Deli.
Bob's Market and Deli, which was so.
We called that place home for a good summer or two, and then it's dragged on out for.
Well, okay, so here's that was my first job. Was I was 16 years old. I was dating a lovely lady, and we were. I don't know where we were. We were in Wildwood or something. We were on like vacation, and I knew that I had to get a job. I didn't want to get a job, and I was talking to her about it, and then she was like, "Oh, I think I could get you a job." And then her mom, who worked across the street at the hardware store at the time, Gail's Hardware, remember that?
Yeah, yeah.
She went to this deli all the time, and she knew that they were looking for help, so she got me this job. So I started working there, and I worked there for a few years. And it was a regular deli thing. Get there at like early in the morning, cook sandwiches for old people, and hang out or whatever. And then around, what year was it? 98?
Well, when I started working there?
Yeah.
No, it was the summer of 99 before, because I remember I took a semester off college and I just worked. So I had like a couple jobs, and then you were like, I need help at the deli. And I was like, sweet. I was like, shit, Dev could cook a mean breakfast. So I figured I'd work there and get good breakfast.
Oh, so we were out of high school at this point, because 99 would have been our first year out of high school. Yeah. So then I was in community college. Then.
Yes, I started working there like June 99.
So I worked there for almost probably 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, you were totally established there.
I was established at the deli.
You guys are like a family in there. I felt like the orphan child, like adopted way years later.
So I had this job, and I worked it, and I was good at it. I consider myself a pretty good breakfast cooker. And
I could smell the breakfast.
I was like a short order chef, and it was cool. You know, free
French
food.
toast.
Show up.
Bacon, egg, and cheese.
It was a family owned joint. It was very, very small. The owner Bob was cool as hell. And I worked there for a while. And then
Sandwiches.
one day he said he wanted to hire some extra help.
Fried goods.
And I said, hey, my buddy Richie, who I had already, hung out with every second of my life, was already playing in a band with, everything like that.
Might as well fill up the rest of the time slots.
So you came in to Bob's Market and Deli, and then
real interesting.
And then things got pretty interesting for a while. So all right, here's the thing that I first remember about you was that I think like the first day that you came to work, you showed up like drunk.
No.
Yeah.
Really? At the deli?
If you weren't drunk, you were at least very hungover because you were like falling asleep. And and I remember being like, oh man, why did I why did I do this?
Yeah, and then I made spatulas dance, and you were like, oh.
You mean because you cook so well?
Yeah.
I think I did most of the cooking. Though,
yeah, you did. Yeah, I didn't do. Yeah,
you ran the register.
I did most of the eating.
So basically what happened was we
ate. Wait, what is it?
Yeah,
if we sold what we ate and ate what we sold, Bob would have been successful.
We basically took this place over well,
let's tell him about Big Bobo.
Okay, so Bob was
he was the owner of Bob's Market and Deli.
Market and Deli. He was like a nice guy.
Yeah, he was a nice guy.
He
kind of like a rednecky type dude, you know, like a real townsy. Like
yeah.
He was definitely like hanging out in the creek in Hazlitt in the 50s, you know?
Well, Keyport is like a really small knit town. If anyone's familiar with Keyport, New Jersey, it's like a town on the water. And it's like maybe
kind of inbreedy.
It's like 1 square mile, and everybody knows each other. And they have this main drag, which is all basic. It's changed a little bit now, but back then it was basically all like antique shops and like and like a pizza place and a
Keyport back then was like Times Square before Giuliani, you know.
Okay, well there wasn't any strip clubs.
No, there wasn't any strip clubs.
You weren't going to get shot.
There was some nasty hookers though.
Was there hookers in Keyport?
Oh, remember those things?
Oh yeah, they would actually be down.
They looked like dudes, but they were hookers.
Yeah, they would have every Sunday they would have like a swap meet.
Hooker day.
They would have it's not a swap meet, a flea market down.
A swap meet.
I don't even know what a swap meet is.
I don't know. Hooker swap meet. It's fucking awesome.
They would have like a flea market, and there would be people there like selling like fucking like rugs, and then there would be like hookers, like
rugs, whores, rugs.
I forgot all about that, but that went away quickly.
That's crazy. Yeah, it was kind of scuzzy up there, but it was great because we just got this like group of characters coming in every day like clockwork, doing the same shit, and just ended up being the funniest damn thing ever.
Well, okay. Expand on that.
Well, we even made a list of all their nicknames and everything.
Well, right, all the store owners.
Yeah,
and everything like
I
that.
could be rattling off names and nicknames forever. It was just hilarious that these people just pretty much like established these names, and then they were coming in after a while. And we just started calling them their alter ego code name.
And so we quickly. I was.
Big Bobo. We forgot to tell him.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's really not much to say about Bob. He's a nice guy. He was like.
There's something we gotta say about Bob. Loved Devin. Like loved him so much. Like he was like the son he never had. Me and Dev would come in the morning and be like, "Hey, Rich." Hey, Dev, good morning, buddy. Hey, I was thinking about you last night while I was watching The Price is Right,
Okay.
They're buddies, and I said, Dev, he's got like an effigy in his house, like a stuffed animal with like a photo printout of your face on it, like cooking eggs, and he calls it Mr. Devin.
Well,
he just loved you. Like
we were buds. I was a good worker,
so
but you, on the other hand, were not a good worker. So
I was a good worker, yeah.
I remember. One time, I vividly remember this.
I know what you're gonna say
of him. So Bob always held a cup of coffee, like kind of like
It wasn't a cup; it was a mason jar with a handle.
Yeah, right. Like kind of like the guy from the boss from Office Space. You know what I mean? Like you would just sit there and hold it and bullshit with you and stuff. And I was up front. I was like taking care of a customer or something, and you were like normally were lounging in the back. And here's another thing that you need to know about Bob's Market working in deli back in the day is that this is before that you couldn't smoke cigarettes anyplace. So we used
chain
to
smoking
smoke
rats.
we used to work in this deli just chain smoking cigarettes.
Ashing in the sandwiches, butt hanging out.
And you would sit in the back, like smoking a cigarette in the chair in the back. And I remember he was talking to you one day, like maybe like trying to brainstorm ideas or asking you about something, and you literally fell asleep while he was talking to you.
All I heard was and
then
I was out.
And then this guy was so nice that he watched one of his workers smoke a cigarette and fall asleep in front of him, and then he just kind of like shrugged his shoulders and walked away. He didn't.
Good night, Mr. Rich. He tucked me in. Good night.
And then we started getting drunk there.
Yeah, that was awesome. Yeah, because Bob, he owned that deli, but his job was he was a truck driver. So he'd come in the morning, throw Dev the keys, and he'd be out of there by like...
Oh, I had the keys. I would open that place up all the time.
So he was out of there from 8:30, and that's it. We would just close and just never see him. So as soon as the liquor stores open at 10:30, it began.
And then... So basically we were two like punk rock kids, like I always had like different colored hair and I mean we weren't like dressed like badly there, but we were like two young kids and working at this deli,
fucked up
getting
while we were
fucked
making
up,
sandwiches.
making people sandwiches. And then Bob gets his brother to come in, and what are you gonna do? Yeah, okay. Yeah, sure. So Bob gets his brother to come in, his name is Stevie. And this was a changing point in me and Rich's life, because this dude, he must have been maybe 40 years old at the time, and he had already lost his leg to some sort of, like, he was eating meat, and I guess he was like so fucking drunk. This guy was like a raging alcoholic, and he was like so drunk that he ate raw meat or something like that and got like an E. coli infection and ended up having to get his leg amputated. So Bob, this is Bob's little brother, so he has him start working at this place. So now all of a sudden it's me and Richie, who are a bunch of 19-year-old kids, 18 or 19-year-old kids who are getting drunk and whatever and making food and hanging out. But all of a sudden this 40-year-old maniac starts working there. But he's at the same level as me and Richie as far as like maturity and everything goes. So now you got two 19-year-old kids and this 40-year-old dude with one leg walking around on a crutch. We're from open to close, we're there. Like Bob's not even like really around or anything. And we're just getting hammered on vodka all the time. At one point, do you remember this? Do you remember the Christmas? It was a Christmas Eve.
Oh my God, I was wrecked the whole time at my house after leaving the deli.
It was a Christmas Eve, and we had to open up the deli, and we started. Me, Richie, and Stevie O, we used to call him, started drinking vodka at
10:30.
10:30 tops, right? And then continued to fucking drink vodka until we closed, and then went to a bar and it continued to drink vodka. And I remember I slept through Christmas that year.
Not me, my man. I was absolutely hammered. My whole family was really considering taking me to the Betty Ford Clinic. I know, they're a little strong.
Is this all vodka?
No, there's some soda in there, but it's a little strong.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
I'm used to the flavored vodka where you can't really tell.
Okay, so for the people at home, we decided to have a few vodkas tonight, and while I was telling that story, Richie slipped out to make a couple other drinks, and he just basically came back with two really big glasses of straight vodka.
Yeah, it's smooth. You can't really tell.
Yeah, so Stevie just being a maniac. So he was
straight up maniac, a one-legged psychopath.
Yeah, pretty much a psychopath.
He was awesome.
He was a crazy alcoholic. And he would just I remember one time we were driving him someplace and he was all fucked up and he was trying to elbow out the window on my car. Do you remember that?
I remember that.
He was just going and like trying to elbow out the window. But
yeah, that Christmas I went home and I was just drunk all night. I opened up this I got like a gift bottle of Bacardi and I ended up cracking that bottle at my house after leaving the deli, and I was drinking all night. My family were just like, "What a drunk!" You know what I mean? My brothers were laughing so hard, and then I remember, like, I think I ended up hanging out with my friend Tracy that night, and then ended up being a debacle, I think. It was just a crazy Christmas, all because Stevie O cracked bottles of vodka at 10:30 in the morning.
Yeah,
at Bob's Market and Deli.
Yeah, there's basically this, like I said, as I was trying to explain, there's this 40-year-old dude who's now boozing with these 18-year-old, 19-year-old.
45.
Really, was he?
Yeah.
Like boozing with these kids, and he's like a lifelong alcoholic, and we're like these tiny kids, like trying to keep up with them, and just fucking getting hammered.
Yeah. So hammered.
What? Okay, so what was your?
It was fun being hammered at work. I thought that was fun, but then you would leave work drunk, and like, you know, we were still at that point in our lives where you would come home from work around that time, take a shower, and then go out. Like, you know, every night you were home, you were hanging out, either going out with.
Well,
friends.
we normally had band practice or something like that.
Yeah, well, not at the moment. No, we weren't in a band at that time. It was our in between time.
What?
When I first went to Stockton, I didn't play music with you.
Oh, but I was playing music.
Yeah, well, whatever. So,
that was how the Grillers started.
Yeah. So I came home and it was just a mess.
Okay, what? I think 2 sips into that vodka, you're already fucking.
Yeah, I guess.
What is your, out of all of our time that we spent at Bob's Market and Deli, or as Stevie called it, Bob's Market and Dildu?
Yeah.
What was your favorite story? Because there's a bunch, and we're not going to bore everybody with this, but
oh man, my favorite story. I mean, that Christmas is up there, man. But my favorite story about the market.
Yeah,
there's a couple. Probably with that old lady with the rye bread was a pisser, bro. I forget exactly what happened, but that little old black lady had me making her a sandwich on rye bread, and I think I forgot the rye bread, and she was chasing after the boss, and she was just screaming, "Ain't got no time for rye bread! Ain't got no time for rye bread!" And I think I was drunk. It was just hard for me not to piss myself.
No, I remember.
Is that how it
she was
happened?
waiting for a bus to Atlantic City. And she came in and she ordered a sandwich.
You knew the destination.
Yeah, I know, because that's the bus. She was an older lady, and they would,
okay.
you know, how they do. They get
Her
on these
forearm
fucking.
was jacked.
They get like $25, and then they get on this bus and go down there and spend their $25. It's like the biggest scam in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And your grandma used to do it all the time.
Oh, every weekend. Yeah.
Yeah.
She would spend hundreds though.
Yeah, well, hey, no one's, not everyone's rolling
No
as
one's
fucking.
judging Edith.
No one's rolling as deep as one Edith Giordano.
No, Edith she had some cake.
But yeah, she was waiting for the bus, and she ordered a sandwich, and her plan was to get on the fucking thing. And you were
All
like,
she wanted, just a simple pleasure.
the sandwich should have been made already, but you were all slow as shit, and like the bus was pulling up, and she was freaking out, and she was like, she was visibly like shaking,
Mayo.
and you're going, do you want white or rye? Do you want white or rye? And she was going, there's no time for rye bread, there's no time. So
now I feel
so
bad.
then she runs on the bus. The best part about it is you slap this sandwich together, you wrap it up, and you run outside, and
That's right. I was gonna throw it through the window.
yeah, and you're trying to throw the sandwich through the window.
She would have been the happiest old lady in the world if her sandwich on rye landed on her lap. Like, hello. She would have been so happy.
It was like a Greyhound bus. How are you going to throw it through the window?
Dude, the old magic's still there. But yeah, now that's like the saddest story. But I'll tell you the saddest story about a sandwich ever. You think that's up there? One time he wasn't a regular. He was just like this old cat that was in the neighborhood, wanted just a little snack, you know? So he comes over to the deli. I think I was by myself. I don't know where you were. And I
was probably in the back smoking a butt.
He asked for one of our specialty sandwiches. Let's say it was the New Yorker. So he asked for the
New Yorker was a hit?
It was up there. That's why I remembered it. So let's say he asked for it, right? And on the New Yorker, there's a horseradish spread on the sandwich. So I noticed we didn't have horseradish. So I was like, old man ain't going to realize there's no horseradish. So I made the sandwich, wrapped it up, gave him the sandwich. Old man says goodbye and looks at me with these puppy dog eyes and says, I like it because of the horseradish part. Oh my God, I got so depressed. I think I became a cutter that day.
Oh, speaking about sandwiches and cutters, I'm going to admit this here, and I know you shouldn't, but this is the...
Blood in my Sambo?
Yeah, this
man.
not yours.
Oh, okay.
No, but this is like, there was one day I was working there at the deli, and this boils down to poor decision on my part, but it was busy as hell. I think I was by myself, and I'm just making sandwiches like a motherfucker. There's like a line out the corner, and I'm just like, fucking doing my thing.
Doing work.
And I made this giant sandwich for this dude. Like, he wanted everything on it or whatever. And as I'm about to cut the sandwich, I like cut my fucking finger, and blood started squirting out of my finger. And I don't know if any got on the sandwich, but at that point I should have thrown the sandwich away. But I remember looking at the guy, looking at my finger, looking at the sandwich, looking at the guy, looking at my finger, looking at the sandwich, and I said, "Fuck it," and I wrapped it up.
Fuck it.
And I worked, and I'm not the type of person to do something like that.
I am.
I know you are, because I know of things, much worse things that you've done to sandwiches, and not even at Bob's Market and Deli.
Oh, well, don't fuck me, and you won't get your food fucked with.
But I'm not that type of person to do that, and I still did that. So if you eat any sort of food, especially from like a fast food place or something like that, just know that you've swallowed spit and blood and anything else, which it doesn't bother me any.
We have good digestive tracts. Or not immune systems, I meant.
Oh, okay. So for the listener at home, getting deeper into the person that is RTG, let me tell you this story. This is off the deli. This is later on. When we were in college together at this point.
Something about my immune system?
Well, we were at college and we were working at a pizza place. Now we stayed in that service industry, pretty much, supporting ourselves all through college. And you got me the job at the pizza place because I got you the job at the deli, basically.
Yep.
And
that was a fun one too. Lakeside
was good. Yeah,
was
I was talking about it the other day, and
a lot of freedom where we work.
Yeah. Well, if you're working, that's why people
see all these things add up with my hypothesis of we have an illusion of security in our lives. We get away with a lot of shit.
Well, I mean, I've dated my ex from a few exes ago was like a waitress, and she worked at a whole bunch of different places. And all those people that work in restaurants, they're all maniacs. Like that's almost like
a bunch of cokeheads.
Yeah, it's just a part of being in a restaurant. Is you're just
it's
fucking,
really fun. Actually,
yeah, it's fun.
I love
you don't make a lot of money, and the hours suck and everything.
I used to love being a waiter. I made good money. The hours do suck. I made good money, but it was cool to hang out. It's fun to like be around those people like that and like be in the party atmosphere, like a restaurant with shit on the walls.
So we were at Lakeside, which was a pizza place at our college, and I had to go into work later than Rich. Rich was already working, and I showed up, and Richie's out back, and he's all stoned and shit. And he's the best part about working at a pizza place while you're at college is that you can just eat free food. It's basically why we worked there. I think we got paid. I know I got paid like $68 a week or something crazy like that. But the whole point of working there was that I didn't have to buy a meal plan or anything like that.
Constant cheese.
Yeah, we would just make shit and we would bring them home and put it in the fridge. Yeah, right.
Chicken sandwich.
So I show up and do you remember this? You're eating chicken fingers. And I show up and I'm like, yo, man,
the raw ones.
You're fucking sitting out there, and you have these chicken fingers in like the little fucking white and red basket thing that you would put chicken fingers in.
Carton hat.
And I show up and you're outside and you're eating them, and I'm like, what's going on, dude? And you're like, oh, nothing, just chilling out. And I was like, oh man, class today sucked. And you're like, yeah, my class sucked today. And then I'm looking at you as you're eating, and I see you bite into this chicken finger, and you bite into half of it, and I look, and the inside's completely raw. Like uncooked, like you must have been so stoned that
was probably medium well.
Well, so like whatever. The inside, it's definitely was raw chicken that you're eating. That was like cooked on the outside and then raw on the inside, and then
chicken tartare.
And then I looked at you, stunned that you were like casually eating this chicken and not knowing that, and I was like, Richie, you're eating raw chicken, and you had the other half of the one that you just bit, and I was like, Richie, that chicken's raw, expecting you to be like, holy shit, and like throw it away or whatever, and you just looked at me and you go, whatever, our ancestors ate it, and then you just tossed the other one in your mouth.
I was banging.
Do you remember the time, this is a gun off of Bob's Market and Deli, but do you remember the time that you...
a Lakeside moment?
Yeah. We could just roll Lakeside.
See, what I thought you were going to tell in the last story was the goldfish.
That's what I was going to say right now.
About to go with the fish? Yeah, that was a goodie.
So Richie trying to, I guess, entertain himself during a...
It was a girl's thing. It was kind of a girl. The girls brought me that fish. They're like, hey, Rich, we went to a fair and we won you a goldfish. And they gave me a goldfish.
Yeah, right. No, I get that.
Yeah, so I was trying to show off.
I mean, it's nice that they got you a goldfish, and most humans would have taken that goldfish and said, thank you, girls. This is great. I'm going to enjoy this goldfish. I'm going to bring it home. I'm going to make a habitat for it. I'm going to keep it in my apartment.
To recreate what he is used to.
And what you did instead, since we were working at the deli that time, and this, I mean, not the deli, the pizza place, and this was a place on campus where everybody came like with their meal plan. It would get really busy.
Yeah.
And so you, right before the dinner rush, decided to put, what was it that they had to guess?
The actual weight of
okay,
the goldfish.
Yeah. So he put the
and I honored it too. I really did. Of course, it was not a real weight.
No, I know. Well, this is the funny part. So he put the goldfish in a cup, in a see-through cup, and he put it on the counter, and he said, "Guess the weight of this goldfish, and I will drink the goldfish."
No, it was. Yeah, I think that was.
Yeah. Guess the weight of the goldfish, and I'll drink, and I'll swallow it live.
Yeah, that was it.
And why you came up with this stunt? Nobody asked you to. You weren't dared to. You just decided that this is what you're going to do with this goldfish. So
I was bored.
So I'm sitting there, and you were working the counter that night, and I was cutting sandwiches in the back, and I was just intrigued on how this was going to play out, not thinking that you were going to do it, but also I knew that you didn't know the weight of the goldfish. Like it wasn't like
I put him on a scale.
It wasn't
in a robe.
It wasn't like guess how many fucking jelly beans are in this jar or anything. Like you just a girl gave you a goldfish. You then had the bright idea to put the goldfish out, say guess the weight, and I'll drink it. So I knew at some point if you were going to drink it, you were just going to have to choose somebody at random and then drink it. Mm-hmm. And I listened to people all night come up and like say like weights, and you're like nah.
I wasn't getting to any of those putzes.
Yeah, you're like nah. And then finally, was it a cute girl? Is that why?
No, it was like this geeky, nerdy dude. He was surrounded by all these jocks, and all these jocks are like spitting out 0.5, 0.7. Oh, bro, it's definitely 0.9. And they're like jumping all around, screaming drunk. And then this little like nerdy dude, he's like, excuse me. He makes his way to the front. He's like, I ordered a meatball sub, and my answer is 0.03 grams. I was like, you know what, buddy? I think you just guessed it.
You went.
Enjoy your meatball parm.
You pointed at this dude, and you were like, that is right, and then took the fucking glass and swallowed the whole thing with the goldfish in it. Everybody was stunned that you would actually do it. Because we thought you were, whatever. But then the best part about it is you immediately ran to the bathroom to try to puke this thing up.
Remember I was doing it there for a while, and Chrissy was like, he's gonna have to go.
Oh yeah, so our boss would okay, so you swallowed the goldfish, then you're trying to throw it up in the middle of a place where we're making food for everybody, so of course the boss was like, get the fuck out of here. So then you went into the bathroom, and I heard you for the next like 5 to 10 minutes trying to make yourself throw up. So I guess I
couldn't get it.
I guess your plan was that you were going to swallow this goldfish and then immediately throw it up into the toilet, and then everything would be okay, and like a magic trick.
He would swim away. He'd be fine.
So I'm sitting there listening to you.
Came out looking like Harvey Dent.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I'm sitting there listening to you throw up the whole time, and then finally, you're like, I got it up. So I went in there and I looked into the fucking thing, and it looked like
Harvey Dent.
It had one eyeball and just like the scale of the fucking fish.
Half of it was like exoskeletal, and the other half was regular fish, and one eye was missing, and one lip was dangling. It looked like Two-Face. It was sick.
That poor goldfish that some sweet innocent girl just wanted to give you as a pet, you then swallowed and half fucking digested. It was
probably like laying in my stomach acid just on that side, so it probably caught the Harvey Dent.
You should have just swallowed it and fucking.
Nah, what? Imagine that I threw it up a second earlier and he was still alive. That would have been killer, But that 1 second.
It was a good plan either way.
Yeah. It was, it was a fun moment, and just to look in that young boy's eyes when he guessed the weight of that goldfish was satisfaction enough. I think
you call him a young boy, but
he was so.
We were in college, so he couldn't have been. If we were,
could have been 3 years younger than me.
Okay,
and that would have been 18, and I would have been 21, 22. So that's kind of a jump.
I guess.
I don't know. Who gives a shit? I ate a goldfish. That's pretty fucked up.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, Lakeside was cool as hell. You're right. We get those jobs where, you just have to make a little bit of food, but at the same time, you get free eats, you get to hang out, you get to have fun. Serving food also brings in, a different kind of attitude. Like it makes you want to have fun at the job. You know, like he was saying before, like the restaurant atmosphere. Like you just want to have a good time. People are eating, they're drinking. You know what I mean? So
yeah, there's nothing wrong with service. I don't think there's anything wrong with service jobs either. Later into life, when people are mean.
I mean, the counter of Salad Works is a different story, but
I've never been in a Salad
Well,
Works.
I just mean that type of corporate. Recommend the cookie type shit.
Right?
You know?
No, I get that. Yeah, because you have to like fucking push shit. Would you like fucking fries with that?
You got to talk like you're reading a
script.
Script. Right.
Yeah, but I mean, like my mother was a waitress pretty much her whole life, you know, and it wasn't because she was like remedial or anything like that. She can
make good money.
She made decent money and got
it all depends on you.
Got health insurance from it, and you know, and was able to support the family with my father. I don't. When people look down on people like they're just aware, I think I've even said this. In a prior. Yeah, right. Before. Like when people look down on people because of that, it bothers the hell out of me. There's nothing wrong with that.
Well, that's
whatsoever.
because people are trying to make themselves feel better.
And I'll tell you what, people in restaurants, for the most part, work harder than any fucking dude in a suit in fucking Manhattan. You know what I mean? You got to work nights and weekends and double shifts and run your ass off and
remembering a whole bunch of a list of shit every 5 minutes and then changing in your mind.
And then if that isn't hard enough, your total income depends on how nice you are to people.
Right.
So it's like you have to be like a customer service expert on top of being like fast and to look down on that.
That's one of the funnest things about it, though. I think that's what makes it really fun.
Yeah, this world is like backwards where we fucking and I mean anybody who like innovates and stuff like that, computer programmers and shit like that, I totally understand, you know. But when we look up at to stockbrokers and look down at restaurant workers, that's how you know our fucking society is.
I was talking about that once. It's like, how do we put a price tag on someone's like their worth of their job? You know what I mean? Why does this job get so much money and this job doesn't? You know what I mean? There's very simple answers to that, but I was looking at it more of like who deserves more money for how hard they work. You know what I mean? But that's never the case.
But that is the thing. I mean, you know, like look at teachers. You know, like there's that argument.
It's really unfair.
There's that argument out there, like and military guys and stuff like that. You know, like. They don't make any fucking money,
right?
But then you're a sports star makes fucking $15 billion. I understand the argument. I understand both sides of the argument. You know what I mean? And I understand that this is a fucking what the hell's the word for our country?
Capitalist.
Yeah, it's a capitalist society, and so therefore, if you have a product that's in demand, then you're going to make more money. I totally understand that, and I understand that side of the argument. But if you're gonna act like playing football is more important than teaching young children how to live in life and stuff like that, I mean, the balance is completely off.
Right.
Totally.
Right.
You know, so
yeah, it's really unfair.
I miss your taste and your
Oh, Richard. Well, we tried to talk about the deli, and then we kind of bounced back and forth.
Yeah, we'll always bring it back to the deli.
There's so many stories from that I'm sure we'll sprinkle in over the time.
Yeah, no doubt about that.
So
what was this? Number 7 or 8?
Number 7.
Number 7, not bad.
And we still don't really have a name yet.
Oh, I got a goodie though.
I know yours, and I like it.
You do?
I do, but I don't know if it sums it up so well.
It's such a good. Yes, it does.
That's it. That's definitely in the running. That's like number 1 in the running.
It is number 1 at least.
Hopefully by next episode we'll have a name. Hopefully.
Smoke-filled years.
Ooh, is this a live performance by RTG?
I tried to kick the low back up.
Hopefully by next episode I'm going to hit record and say,
welcome to the Whoa Show featuring Devin and Ritchie. Bing, bing, bing.
I'm with that.
But probably not. We'll probably sit here and bitch about how we don't have a name still.
Yeah, right.
Anyway, episode 7 of the Rich and Debbie the Devin Ritchie fucking podcast is over, and we'll see you next time.
Guys, we'll see you next time.
Thanks for listening to the Awkward High Five podcast. For more episodes, visit awkwardhighfive.com.